So I'm going to be showing you 5 of some of the very best index funds and exchange traded funds that Vanguard has to offer. So get yourself ready because we're starting right now. So if this is your first time to the channel, my name is Trey and welcome to Let's Talk Finances, where on this channel, I like to help you get out of debt, stay out of debt, reach financial independence so that you can begin building wealth. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, let's go ahead and get this started now by hitting the subscribe button. And in addition, if you like the video, please smash the like button. I would really appreciate it. So if you're anything like I was when I embarked upon my investment journey, I was looking up so much information and it was becoming very difficult to decide which index fund or exchange traded fund to go with because there was an influx of information on the internet. In this particular instance, investing in index funds or exchange traded funds, ETFs, are some of the best ways to build long-term wealth over a course of time. The first index fund that I'm going to be listing that you might want to consider investing in is Vanguard's Information Technology Index Fund, ETF shares, ticker symbol VGT. This one is one of those awesome funds that you might want to pair with something else, all right? This is going to bring you great gains. Let's go through the breakdown. Now, as it states in the name, it is a technology sector fund. Its net assets currently are $50.98 billion. Its current yield to date is 0.72%. Its returns to date currently is 6.09%. And its expense ratio is 0.10%. This one is going to be a very good one for you to pair with some other Vanguard index funds. But in a nutshell, the information technology sector is always going to be a very good fund to invest in. If you want a more inclusive list of specifically Vanguard index funds, in this video, I have you covered. So be sure to watch that video after this one. Before I continue, index fund number 2 and number 3 oftentimes get confused. So what I'm going to do after naming the two is I'm going to do a breakdown of them so that you'll have a more accurate stance as to which one of these you should choose. If you're liking the information so far, please go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. Index fund number 2, and that is Vanguard's High Dividend Yield Index Fund, ETF shares, ticker symbol VYM. This one in particular's net assets are $46.47 billion. Its yield is 2.90%. Its return is 17.34%. And its current expense ratio is 0.06%. The third fund that you should be looking at, which is also a high value index fund, Vanguard's Dividend Appreciation Index Fund, ETF shares, ticker symbol VIG. Now, its net assets currently are about $70.71 billion. Its yield is 1.53%. Its returns are 10.43%. And its expense ratio is currently 0.06%. All right, guys, so as promised, let's get into what exactly a yield is. A dividend yield is how much the company pays out in dividends each year relative to its stock price. A dividend fund or a value fund is very popular amongst investors who want to receive dividend payouts. Let's break down these two particular funds a little bit more. Both are ETFs. Both have an expense ratio of 0.06%. They're both considered a large value fund. The yield for VYM is a little bit higher at 3.39%. I'll go over why that is. To whereas VIG's yield is 1.81%. VYM is comprised of about 419 companies, to whereas VIG is comprised of about 184 companies. VYM seeks to pay out these dividends to investors who simply choose to invest in these high dividend stocks or companies. Because they're paying out these dividends immediately, they can afford to pay higher dividend percentages. On the contrary, because VIG decides to pay out their dividends throughout a course of time, generally 10 years, they have a vetting process of which they eliminate the high-risk stocks. So in doing so, their dividend yields are going to be a little bit lower, but at the end of the day, they are both high value stocks. So with this being said, both of these are going to be great for those investors who want to be paid out with dividends. Index fund number 4 that you should be considering is one, in my opinion, that flies under the radar. But for those investors who have been investing for quite some time, it should be one that we're very familiar with, and that is Vanguard's Total World Stock Index Fund ETF share, ticker symbol VT. This one is a very good fund for those individuals who want some international exposure but don't want to consistently have to navigate through their portfolio to balance it. This particular fund invests in just over 50% of US stocks and just shy of 45% of international stocks. Its current net assets are $28.86 billion. Its current yield is 1.55%. Its returns are 11.3%, and its expense ratio is 0.08%. If you also want some international exposure, then I would highly recommend this one as well. The fifth and last fund that you should be considering is my personal favorite, Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund ETF share, ticker symbol VTI. My opinion, all-time great. Let's go ahead and look into its structure. Its net assets is a whopping $1.21 trillion. Not billion, but trillion. You heard me right. Its yield is 1.30%. Returns are currently at 12.30%, and its expense ratio is 0.03%. VTI is one that I always say should be a foundational fund. And what do I mean by that? A foundational fund being one that you hold as your core holding. And then you can throw in something like the first mentioned index fund, VGT, along with it to complement its particular structure. But because VTI is so well diversified, you can even hold this in a one fund portfolio. And it is designed so that you can own a piece of every publicly traded stock and or company within the United States. All right, guys, so there you have it. 5 of some of the very best index funds / ETFs that Vanguard has to offer. And again, if you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button. I would really appreciate it. As always, I want to go ahead and thank the men and women who serve this country and who have served this country. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. We all appreciate you. Until the next video, guys, let's talk finances then.